Hello, everyone. How are you? Well, welcome to Educational Moments with Dr. Naita. I am laughing because I went through the whole introduction and everything. And you know what? I forgot to press live. I forgot to invite you all in. So look, I'm so glad you're here. I'm here. You're here. So now we can officially get started. I cannot believe I did that. But anyway, look, hello and welcome. Welcome to Educational Moments with Dr. Naita. And I have a great show, another great show planned tonight. And we have a great topic. Our topic tonight is dreams and expectations. You know, what are we sharing with our young people? What are we sharing with the kids that we are raising, or the children that we are teaching, the young people we're interacting with? What are we sharing with them with regards to dreams and expectations? So we're going to talk tonight's family night. I brought in our guest, our friend, our sister. She is here tonight. We're going to bring her in just a few moments. But look, share this link now that I finally went live. Share this link. Tell somebody, text somebody that they need to be here tonight. If you have young people and you're still you're struggling right now to get them back acclimated to being in the classroom, you're just struggling in your homes with dreams, expectation, goals, you want to be here tonight. I promise you want to be here tonight. So look, share this link, grab you something nice to sip on, something cool to drink, and come on back. All righty. Well, welcome back. Thanks for joining us again. Welcome to Educational Moments with Dr. Naita. And I'm Dr. Naita. So tonight, our topic is dreams and expectations. So without further ado, I'm going to bring in our very special guest, none other than Miss Sandra D. Johnson, and welcome to the show. I appreciate you. Thank you for hanging in there with me.
Absolutely.
Okay. So how are you this evening?
I am well. I'm gonna make sure I'm in this camera here, right? All
Okay.
right. Yes.
You're good. You're right in the center.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you. Well, I'm so glad that you are here tonight. So please, as always, we have new viewers. People may not know who you are. So please introduce yourself, tell my audience, and please share with my audience maybe some of the recent work that you are involved in.
Sure. It's great to be here. Thank you so much. Am I coming across clear?
You are coming across wonderfully.
Wonderful. Okay, so I am family coach Sandra D. Johnson. I work with young people and their parents here in our city. And specifically, I do some specific work for teen court. Youth who have gotten into a little bit of trouble, they get a civil citation. And my idea, I created actually a sanction that the young person and their parents have to participate in an emotional wellness sessions is what we do. And they have some sessions that are offered to them. Teen Court, the city of Jacksonville pays for it. So it's a great opportunity for us to be able to pour ourselves into families in the community, helping the community to get stronger and helping our families to get stronger. So I enjoy doing that.
That sounds awesome. Sounds like amazing work. So thank you. Thank you for all that you do for our community and for families. So thank you.
Absolutely.
So I am just trying to make sure that we are good on Facebook and okay, posted a comment, and let me put the comment up here so that We can have it. And okay, yes, there it is. Okay, very
All
good.
right.
All right, so let's just jump right in. So look, too often I hear people describe success as being something that's going to happen later. I'm working now and I'm going to be successful in the future. I'm going to have a good job in the future. I'm going to love my job in the future. Or everything is delayed. It's always later. But they are losing sight of the process here and now, the right now. They're not trying to enjoy the process. They're just looking forward to the destination. So
Mm,
in your book, you discuss the importance of parents expecting more from their children now,
yeah.
and not just in words, but in deeds. Can you kind of explain that a little bit, and how, we're projecting for the future, but not really looking at the right now?
Yeah. I think that we do a disservice to ourselves and
Mhm,
also to the young person, right? Or the
mhm,
young people in our community. Um, you know, I, when I think about that question, the thing that comes to mind is you're parenting right now. You're not parenting in the future. You're not really um you don't even know what access you're going to have to them in the future.
right.
And has this pandemic not taught us that I
Yes.
need to go ahead and pay attention to what is in front of me right now. So why are we waiting until we can be successful or they can be successful? Oh, when you're an adult, oh, you'll understand better when you're an adult. And it's like I can start understanding these things now. My
Exactly.
brain works very well. I'm still developing, sure, but there are things that I am able to comprehend if you will just give me a chance. That's what
Yes.
I think our young people are crying out. They don't know how to use those words. They don't even know how to process that statement. But in
Mhm.
their being, the older they're getting, and again, think about this. This generation is exposed, has more exposure than any
Yes.
in the history of mankind. That
Yes.
is incredible to think about. And yet
Yes.
we really don't give them credit. They didn't do anything for it, but
Right.
the fact that they're coming up in it, we need to
Mhm.
recognize, wow, there should be more that I expect because what's happening right here presently, not about that future success, but right now. There are our young people can start their own business while they're kids if we
Absolutely.
will set right, if we'll set that tone and start talking to them, dealing with them, expecting them to not just be suffocated under everything that the world has to offer, but understanding where they fit in
Mhm.
that world,
I
right?
love it. Yes, yes, absolutely. I love it. And when you spoke about, they don't have to wait till they graduate from high school and graduate from college. They can be whatever they want to be, even right now.
Yeah.
There's small things that they can do. There are certifications that they can get online right now to start doing things. They don't have to wait to become a business owner later in life. That's something, you hear about it, you read about it, where teenagers are starting, $10,000, $100,000 businesses right now in their own home.
Mhm.
Trading tennis shoes. I think his name, he was a sneakerhead, and he just started trading tennis shoes.
Yeah.
And he's a millionaire now.
Right.
And has just a crazy collection of super expensive athletic shoes. So, absolutely, we can start putting these little dreams and ideas. We don't have to limit the kids nowadays.
That's
We
it.
we don't have to limit, oh, you have to wait till you're older. Oh, you can't do this now. We don't have to do that. Yes, we do have to put boundaries.
That's right.
Yes, we have to do some research,
Yes.
but we
Uh-huh.
don't have to limit kids not right now anymore. So
Yeah.
how can parents reframe their communication, from the dialogue, well, in the future, well, later, well, when you get older, well, you'll understand by then. How can we reframe that dialogue?
That's good. I think reframing any dialogue is going to be about reframing your own personal thinking.
Mm,
If
mm,
you're not willing as the parent to think outside of the box, you're not going to be able to sell it to this young person. Because
true.
again, you compete against a whole lot of different things now that our parents didn't have to compete against. Their parents didn't have to compete against. So the new thinking has to happen. What we said first off, right?
Mhm.
They're not limited. I don't have to treat them like they are limited. I need to talk to them more. So reframing that mindset is going to be allowing them in a lot of ways to teach you what they know, to teach you what they think they know, even if they don't have all the pieces together. It's really about getting them stirred up, stirring
Mhm.
what is there. It's like, okay, what is happening inside of you? I think we get so lost in, oh, they look like me, or they look like their dad, they look like this. And since that,
Yeah.
they're gonna act like this. Oh, he sounds just like his dad, and we're
Mhm. Mhm.
distracted about that stuff instead of saying, this is a beautiful, viable individual who has their own set of dreams and desires. They may not know fully how to walk all of that out, but
Exactly.
I gotta ask questions. So reframing could be just learning how to ask questions. Hey,
Mhm.
let's try something new. They might be scared. They might be intimidated. So it might be a parent saying, hey, I want to try this with you. Or I have this idea, but I really could use a young person's perspective,
Yes.
right? When
Yes.
you put yourself in that place of needing them, they get empowered
Yes.
because they start coming with, oh, okay, let me fill in the gaps. Now,
Mhm.
because I hear it all the time. Kids and young adults love to say to their parents, you just don't understand. You wouldn't understand. And
Uh-huh.
we get so
Yeah.
offended because it's like,
What you
what do you
mean?
mean? Immediately.
Yeah.
When really it's like they're setting it up to have a conversation. So instead of us getting offended, I need to reframe that whole thinking and say, well, why don't you enlighten me? Not
Mhm.
being sarcastic. Will you enlighten me? Because I
Mhm.
want to understand. I want
Mhm.
to understand your music. I want to understand why this social media is so important to you. Have you ever thought about doing your own channel? Have you ever thought about creating your own product? You like this artist so much. Have
Mhm.
you ever just thought about creating something to highlight this artist or what this artist may stand for? It could be
Mhm.
anything. We
Mhm.
There is no limit to the
Mhm.
different opportunities that a young person can give you. It's, are
Absolutely.
you willing to take it? Are
Come.
you willing to be uncomfortable? Are
Yeah.
you again, reframing takes
Mhm.
work.
It
It
does.
takes thinking. It means, like, when we talk about this putting things off, right?
Mhm.
Really what we when we say the phrase, oh, some people have to learn the hard way.
Mhm.
um it means we feel they don't listen, right? Or you'll understand better when you grow up, when you're an adult, right? So it's this thing I gotta wait for, and they don't like to wait because they've grown up in a place
Mhm.
that doesn't put high
Right.
priority on waiting,
Right.
right?
Microwave
And
generation. Mm.
so with that mindset, a parent doesn't realize what they're doing is they're procrastinating a relationship. You
Mm.
have procrastinated. You're putting off the involvement. You're putting off the work because you're saying, "Oh, you'll understand better when you get older." No, they need to understand now.
Yeah.
Trust that they can understand now.
Mhm.
Let me speak into you. But I also need to make sure I listen. And I think that's a lot of what happens in that breakdown is that young person doesn't feel the parent's going to ever listen to them because the
Mhm.
parent has gone into it without reframing, and
Mhm.
all they've said is, you need to do it my way. This,
Ooh.
this, 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 because this is
Ooh.
how it works. But
Oof.
Normally, that parent does not have their finger on the pulse when it comes to the young people in this world.
Wow.
And stuff is changing just like that. And it's for them. So they speak to them, listen to them. They can talk to you
Absolutely.
about that pulse. You
Absolutely.
think you hear the pulse, but we're always behind. We're always, because we're trying to make sure we keep up with our own generation.
Exactly.
How can we measure out, and keep up with theirs? So
Right.
you see them as an asset instead of a liability. That's
Wow.
another way to reframe. If I
Whew.
see you as an asset instead of a liability, I'm going to reframe some things in the way that I talk to you, in the way that I challenge you, in the way that I teach, but also in the way that I learn, because you're an asset.
To receiving wisdom from your kids,
Yeah.
and being in a place where you are willing to receive instruction from your child. You're
Mm.
willing to receive suggestions from your child. And then, in addition to that, I thought about a friend of mine who's a phenomenal math instructor. And he'll tell anybody his first student was his mother. And
Mm.
he was still in high school, and
Yeah.
his mother came to him and said, "Look, I want to be a nurse, you know, but I'm afraid of college algebra. And I need you to teach me." And he was like, "What you talking about? I haven't even taken college algebra." She said, "But I believe you can learn it and then teach it to me." So when we
Wow.
empower
Wow.
our kids, needless to say, she went on and did phenomenal things in the healthcare industry.
Yeah.
But when we empower our kids, when we believe in them, when we put some expectations in them, when we put dreams in them, they will rise. And like we were saying before the show, no one rises to low expectations. So if we don't
Right.
expect anything from our kids, then how will they ever achieve?
Mm.
So
Mm.
yeah, yes, you struck a nerve.
And that's good. And you know what you that example and that phrase that I put up, that you put up, that I said,
Hmm.
it takes me back to a talk we had a few months ago.
Hmm.
Equality. If I don't see you as my equal,
Yes.
then of course you're a liability. You're a
Hmm.
liability because
Yeah.
you're less than me. I don't have to treat you like my equal. I've been hearing that a lot because, again, it goes back to that. Why do I have to keep announcing that I'm the
I'm the
parent?
parent. Yes.
I have to keep announcing that. That's your own personal insecurity,
Hmm.
because you see this child as a threat. They're not trying to be your parent. They're just trying to be themselves. And they
Right.
don't always know what that really looks like or feel like, but we got to trust what they think they feel and what they think they know, because they're having their own experience. And we have to trust that. We don't experience the life for them. They're experiencing life, and I need to respect what they're experiencing.
Absolutely. Well, we have a comment from the on Facebook, and it's not showing up. It's going to show up later. I don't know why it won't show up right now, but
Okay.
it says "right!" exclamation point. Most parents are afraid to allow their kids to try things that they themselves are afraid of doing.
Yeah.
And then he said that she is a parent kids guru, all gems, all gems.
Thank you. Thank
Wonderful,
you.
wonderful. So you
Yes.
deal with young people, you interact with young people, that by profession, and then, just from, life and family,
Yeah.
community.
Right.
But when you look at, young people nowadays, what is probably one of the most important characteristics we as parents need to be pouring into our young people?
So, yes, that's empathy. Empathy
Yes, my
comes
favorite
to
empathy.
mind. Empathy.
Mhm,
Um, you know, here's, I wrote this book back in 2019, but I had an event that happened, I think, earlier this year. It had to do with empathy. And it
mhm,
kind of shocked me because it was a parent asking, and she was asking about her 18-year-old. year old. And she said, "How do I teach him empathy?"
Mm.
And I think it stunned me
Mhm.
because I'm like, he's 18. Why are you just asking this question? Right? That's gonna be
Yeah,
prob
he's
I
grown.
think
Yeah.
that's what was happening in me. And I was like, why are you just asking this question? Because the
Mhm.
older they get, the harder it is to teach anything.
Right.
You know, you talk about having a strategy as a teenager, you have to be a genius to teach young adults when it comes to the parent, because they by then they're like, no, you sound like you're trying to be in charge of me, and I'm not
Mhm.
gonna let you, because everything sounds like you're trying to be in charge, right?
Right,
So
right.
they struggle with listening if something hasn't been built up by the time they are 18. So empathy is going to be a big one, and we don't even realize how much we interact with it. Now, here's the thing that I think about with empathy. Parents, as adults, sometimes we don't know what it is. And it's okay to learn with your young person. Go
Mhm.
back to what we just said about math. It's okay to learn with them. It's okay for you to say, you know what? I'm not sure if I have a good handle on that. So let me learn more and let me teach her or him while I'm learning. There's
Mhm.
nothing wrong with that. Somewhere in the universe, we decided as the adult, we need to look like we know everything. Well, guess what? Google came, Siri came,
Proved
and
you wrong.
Alexa. Y'all better back up, because
Uh,
these digital things are like, they know everything.
yeah.
And you see these little kids, they're not talking about,
Mhm.
mama, where is this? They're like, hey, Alexa, tell me what this is. Hey,
Mhm.
Siri, how can I get this? Because they understand these digital people have so much more information. Google it is actually it's a word. You Google it, right? So it's like I don't have to ask my parent. I
Yeah.
don't have to ask for help.
Mm.
So when we think about empathy, what's it like to be in somebody's shoes? You live it every day. You need your young person to understand that the struggle is real. What's it like being, use a single parent as an example. Like
Mhm.
we'll go through as a single parent, struggling, going through it. And then when something happens, you just don't understand. Oh, this is you treat me this way. And and then we go to that place. Oh, wait, I can't wait till you have kids. We're not even thinking like it should be something precious. It's more like this threat of death. I
Uh-huh.
can't wait until
Mhm.
they turn your world inside out. It's like, why are you wishing that? It's like
How
you don't even
patriotic.
stop, right? You're
Right.
wishing something
That's
so
funny.
cruel and evil because you want to teach you a lesson, instead of saying, you know what? I just need you to pause long enough to see what it's like to be put in my shoes. So I find that when I am in conversation, if there's been a crisis, a behavioral crisis in a home, one of the
Mhm.
first things I try to do for that young person is, after I've heard the parent's story, I'll try to say, hey, you know what? Do you, I would say, I bet it's real tough, the work she's got to do. She's working all day. She comes home and she just wants to be appreciated. Hey, just like you. Have you ever thought about like appreciating her? When's the last time you let her know you appreciate her? Well,
Mm.
I guess it's been a minute. Yeah, you were 3. So I'm gonna need
Ooh.
you at 16 to let her know you appreciate her, because you're looking and you're saying, dang, you go to work, you have to put up with a lot of stuff. That's
Yes.
empathy, right? That's teaching them empathy. We get to
Mhm.
do it every day, but sometimes we're so tired, we're so frustrated, we think we have to have all the answers, and you don't. So I really think, like, a lot of this, the more I'm in it, the more I'm learning. It's like I want parents just to take the pressure off themselves.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
stop thinking you gotta be the hero. You
Yeah.
don't. Your
Yeah.
family unit is a hero,
Yeah.
not you as an individual. It's the
Whew.
whole package.
Whew.
And we can affect change as a united front, right?
Any day
Come
in the morning.
on.
Yeah.
Hey, Superman needed the Justice League. He needed people with him right? That was
Yeah.
his family. What are we learning from Marvel, right? When Thanos came on the scene, all y'all better bring all y'all skills to the table. I think the same
Wow.
thing is true for same thing is true for a family.
Wow.
Like allow their skills to be brought to the table too and
Yes.
come together.
Yes.
And again, I can teach empathy that way.
Wow.
What's it, like asking the question sometimes when,
Mhm.
because, again, most of, not all of our families, but a lot of families, like we have, like the kids aren't hungry. The kids do have a lot of things or whatever. It's like,
Mhm.
get them to think about what it's like to go through a struggle.
Mhm.
What, hey, you know what? Some families don't have lights on.
That's
So,
that's real.
what is that like?
Right.
So pause, take 5 to 10 minutes and talk about somebody struggling instead of yelling all the time about why these dishes not washed. It's like chores seem to be like a god in home. I don't understand how these chores have become so big and they seem to cause so many problems.
Mm.
Because again, we're not talking about character. We're not talking about developing empathy. We're talking about those dishes better be washed when I get home.
Mhm.
And if they're
Wow.
not, that's the whole focal point for the rest of the
Of the
evening.
night.
You have
Right.
missed all of these opportunities to
To
teach a
connect.
real life principle,
Wow.
because
Good.
most of them, they're going to either eat off paper plates and then,
Mhm.
or
Or they'll
I
wash
saw,
the dish they wanna eat from.
right.
You better wash the dish you wanna eat from.
So, or they're going to, their future selves. I heard I heard someone say they have two dishwashers in their home. Like that's how it's like not just one, but two. And
Mhm.
the person said, well, if you are blessed enough to have two dishwashers, get two because it'll keep things moving.
That's
That's a lot
funny.
of dishes that get dealt with, right? But just
Wow.
the idea of how you know how are we teaching empathy? Are we taking time to let them understand what it's like to go through some struggles? Everything's not going to always be easy. Everything, we are going to
Mm.
have difficulties, right?
Absolutely.
you
Absolutely.
know
We cannot continue to shield our students from difficulties or from failure. I
yes,
know in working with, I've always worked with an advanced population of students. They were academically talented
right.
and they, didn't know how to fail. They didn't know how to struggle. So when they came into our program and they ended up with a C on an assignment or a D, they're like, they
Yeah.
just couldn't move past it. It would just break them down,
Wow.
and because they never had to struggle. They didn't have to work for
Right.
to understand concepts in school.
Mm,
So we do. It is so important that we, stop shielding our young people from hurt and from pain. Instead, some things they just have to go through, and we can be there to help them learn how to get through it and how to move to the next thing. So that kind of leads me kind of shifting the subject a little bit, but it reminds me of a post that I recently saw. 'Cause I'm a part of different parent groups and what have you. And
right.
it's one parent, she said that she was the parent of a high school senior. And she was like, she doesn't know what she's going to do because her daughter wants to go away to all these colleges, go away. And she was like, she is not ready. She is just out. She says she's irresponsible. She's not mature. And quite frankly, she said, my husband spoiled her to death, and she's just not ready. And I'm like, but you can't wait until senior year to start teaching responsibility.
That's
It's
right.
something you build up to.
That's right.
It goes to that expectation. Oh, well, you're 18, so you're just supposed to automatically know. No,
Right.
it's behavior that's built up. Okay, I'll let you speak to that, Nika, now before I share, something, but I'll let you speak to that. What are your thoughts about that? It's senior year and now you want to start, planning to, for your child to go away to college.
Okay, that's a good one. And I agree. Like what's been invested all this other time. Again, just like when that parent is asking, how do you teach empathy to an 18-year-old? I'm thinking you didn't start when he was 7. So it's like, oh, it's gonna be a big challenge now. It's a big challenge to teach responsibility as well. But I also want to say this. What is she basing it on? Because she's using what she thinks she sees, right? Okay. But she also threw in, well, my husband, her dad, right? So you're throwing some stuff off,
Yeah.
On
Yeah.
another parent.
Right.
And it doesn't necessarily mean she doesn't know responsibility. It could mean you've never expected her to be responsible. So that could be the problem. You
Yeah.
didn't expect her to be responsible. So
Didn't get
why
responsibility.
would I? Right.
Yeah.
Responsibility is about owning something. Guess what she has owned? I'm sure very well. And they have made, that's it. You better believe I own this.
Yes.
I have to have my oxygen tank with me everywhere I go. That's how they see this thing. That don't mess with it, don't turn it off, or it's gonna be a problem up in here, is the way they look at it, right? And again, I deal with real life situations around these phones and Wi-Fi. Lord help us. But how well has she kept up with it? Well, that's responsibility for her, right? Does she take care of her personal hygiene? Okay, she owns her body. That's responsible. What does being responsible look like versus what you're calling irresponsible? Have y'all expected her to do chores? Well, if it's not expected, why are you worked up? Y'all didn't expect me to do anything. And so a lot of times too, these young people have their own worlds, right? Mamas and daddies don't know nothing about it, and they over there running something. They are like, again, they not being pushed over. How has her relationships been? That's some ownership. How responsible has she been in those things?
Absolutely.
For her to get to her senior year, either y'all have done all of her work for her, you have policed all of her work, she has paid somebody to do all of her work, or maybe she actually got it done and got to her senior year and is looking forward to graduating because she can't wait to get out of here. Again, what are you going to do? Oh, I'm going to hold you back because I don't think you're ready. What are you basing it on? So that's the question I have. What are you basing it on?
Absolutely.
So when you say it's I don't think that's a change in the conversation. I think that is absolutely right where we have been talking, right? It's another avenue that brings us right back to this main vein of what has been the expectation for you now to say she is totally irresponsible.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if you did not expect her to do anything, if you always did her laundry, then how would you expect for her to know how to? I know it just blows my mind. It blew my mind when I went on a college campus to find all these kids who didn't know how to turn on the washing machine. And it wasn't expected. So that's not that the students are irresponsible. It's that the parents never expected them to do it.
That's it.
So, and I'll share something that I did with my daughter, which a lot of people would think was ridiculous or crazy, but it worked for us. And her senior year, I told her going that summer before, I said, it's all on you. Your laundry. Now I took care of those cheerleading uniforms because that stuff's expensive. But your laundry, you getting up in the morning, going to school, you have no curfew. You have no curfew whatsoever. However, you can't come in my house after 2:00. So
there you go.
My door locked, period.
Yeah.
But so if now, do expect that if you're going to be out late, or you're over your girl, one of your best friend's houses, and y'all hanging out and it's late and you're gonna stay there, I expect you to call me and let me know, so I'm going to turn the light out and go into my REM sleep, and even right down to the church. You go to church if you want to. Because why? Because that's when she gets to college and has that freedom. I want to know she can manage that freedom.
Excellent.
At least at senior year in high school, if she gets off the chain, I can reel it back in.
That's right.
But but when she gets to college, you're on your own. And the first couple Sundays, oh, she slept in, she was like, but after that, she was like, I miss church. So she got up and started going to church, on Sunday on her own, drive herself. And, then when that laundry backed up, she was like, you're not going to do we already established that. No.
Yeah. There's no question.
So, but now, do I recommend that for everybody? Of course not. Not everyone's ready for that. Right. However, you'll never know what your child is ready for until you start taking some of the handles off and letting them get out there and flex a little bit, make a couple mistakes, and then if they get way off, then bring them on back in. The other good thing that I had was that she was an athlete. So, that 7 a.m. practice made sure she came on home.
Yes.
Yes. She came on home because she knew that Coach Kenny was going to run her to death that next morning, or anyway. So we can't expect young people to just wake up one day and know something.
Voila.
I know better. When everyone was slamming Sha'Carri Richardson, that oh well, she's 21, she should know better, and da 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 da. Well, it says who? Says who? Says who? Who taught her? Who taught her better? Okay. Who taught her? So, they don't just wake up knowing these things. And I think that is just so unfair. Can you speak to the fallacy in expecting instant maturity?
Yes. So I love what you did for your daughter. I think I recommend it to everyone because I think, and yes, you're right. Okay. You're right. Not everybody can, but I recommend they do something that can be similar. And again, some of them may start even earlier with some of those aspects, because everything can't be about my parent. You can't be the one that's holding all the pieces together, because you're going to crash and burn eventually. Right. That is something that you have to keep your wellness in check. But as you said, your young person was getting ready for transition, and you want her to see what it was like. I like to say it's the idea of you need to get a smell in your nostrils. Like if someone says, oh yeah, I want to work at the hospital. Okay, let's go ahead and drop you off over there. Now, we can't do that now because of all these, restrictions. But before it was like, go ahead and walk around in the hospital, see what it smells like, because that's the smell that you're going to have to get used to if that's the work you say you want to do. So again, it's like, you smell your own laundry, don't you? Don't smell good. Mama's not coming to rescue. Get that smell in your nostrils, right? And you, again, that whole idea of, like, even when you use the example of church, when she recognized, I miss this, because a routine had been established that somewhere in there she liked. And now it's up to her to decide. That builds maturity, right? Yes. It's not about her changing age. It's about her changing her mind. So that whole thing, this fallacy issue we have. I had a client, and they just turned 18, and I said to the mom, I said, oh, I see that your son just had his 18th birthday. I said, did something magical happen? Was there something new? And she was like, no. I said, yeah, I didn't think so. I was just checking because I like to be sarcastic every now and then. But, it was really to set it up for me to talk to him and helping him to understand. It's great that you just changed this age, but what is it going to do for you? What are you doing? Right? So yeah, the culture has set up some things, and in a lot of ways it does create messiness, right? Because age does not communicate maturity. We know that there's 40-year-olds who are just as immature as a 16, 15-year-old, and they are making poor decisions as well, right? Somebody maybe is not putting them on blast because they're not trying to win Olympic medals, right? So that young lady got put on blast because of the world she's in and being 21. So there's some things that you can know better, but you're right. If it hasn't been taught, if I haven't had some of those experiences to understand, man, this is a consequence for my behavior. And what we got to see is the way she accepted responsibility.
Yes.
Again, that's a change in her thinking. So if we can have a change thinking, that affects our behavior. And that's what we need to look at for our maturity, not based on age. At the same time, I have to say, because the culture has set us up for the 18 and 21, we have to roll with those punches.
Yeah.
We have to totally roll with it. And it's like, okay, you're 18. So what I expected from you at 17 just went up. The stock just went up because the stock went up. That means your responsibilities change. It also means I'm going to back up. I'm going to back up more because of making room, right? I need to make space. I talk about that, making space for their age, for their maturity. I want to see you mature. I just don't want you to get older. I want you to mature. Talk about it.
Yes.
Right?
I love that.
So even though the culture makes it magical, they need their parents and people who care about them to actually talk about what is expected of me now. What should be expected? What type of new thing am I going to come into now that I am 18, 19, 20, 21? So one of the things that I wanted to say when we and you tell me, do I have a couple more minutes before we have to do our
Can we do the commercial break real quick and then you can wrap it up with that? Okay.
Yes, I will.
Very good. But I did want to add that comment. I don't just want you to age. I want you to mature. I love that. But at this time, I want to take a quick commercial break for our sponsor tonight. And our sponsor, and see if I can get the right screen up. Our sponsor tonight is, yes, there it is. Let me get these banners out the way so I can give her all of her props. But there's none other than Vicki Walker, owner stylist of Inspire Hair, located at 2628 University Boulevard. And Vicki takes care of total hair care needs, all of your hair care needs. So please reach out to Vicki, and we appreciate her support tonight. So thank you, Miss Vicki. Thank you, Miss Vicki. So with that, we have gone overtime actually, but it was good. You were dropping so many nuggets. I just stopped trying to take notes because it was just good. This needs to go on replay. I'm going to chop this up and put it out there because there were so many great things that you were saying. But at this time, would you like to share that last word of advice? And also, if you have any products that you'd like to share.
Yes. And I'm going to try to share this as quick as possible because I think it's definitely necessary for this talk. This week, Apple, the product, right, the company, they rolled out their next level of upgraded products. For an Apple product lover, I am not ashamed. I love all my Apple products. I was impressed by the new stuff. Okay. Every time they do an upgrade, it's always about this product can do more. This product can do more, no matter if it is a device or if it's software. We take all of these upgrades if we have these devices. The outcome or the expectation is the same. It can do more. It can do more. So if Apple has a high expectation for this inanimate object,
yes,
why should I not have a high expectation for a beautiful life that is in my home? Other part of this I want to say, guess who expects a whole lot more from your family member than you do? This is what I'll hear a parent say. Well, all I expect is for him or her to make their bed and maybe pick up around their room. That I don't expect much. That actually is an insult to their intelligence. Because
do so much more.
Because Xbox expects high quality from them, and Instagram expects all for them. What are they? Those things, those companies, they say without saying it, we expect your undivided attention. And guess what? Every young person does, rises to the occasion.
Wow.
So if those companies can have a high expectation for your offspring, why would you not keep the expectation high?
Excellent point. Excellent point. Drop the mic.
I'm dropping it.
Drop
Even
the
though
mic.
I got more I can say.
Well, I appreciate you coming on tonight. Do you have a product you would like to share?
Yes, I want to put out there, if it shows up well, my emotional wellness checks and tips. These are some cards. It's a card deck. These are some helpful resources for any of us at any stage. These are not just about parenting. This is about living. This is about our emotional wellness. Go to my website. You'll see it there. B2S20 is a discount code. If you go to my website and put in B2S, which stands for Back to School 20, you can get a 20% discount off of anything that you purchase on my website. Any other products? Yep, you got it. B2S20, Back to School 20. So any of my products, but I definitely recommend this. A deck of about 35 cards that are just some encouragement to help us through the challenges of everyday life.
Very good. Very good. Yes. Well, I appreciate you being here again tonight. Thank you. Thank you for those words of encouragement, those gems, those nuggets that you always drop, but you were on fire tonight.
That's great.
So
thank you. Thank you.
We appreciate you, and you take care and you have a wonderful night.
All right. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.